Now we turn to the Philippines. There have been reports saying that the country's second most active volcano may erupt soon. That means evacuated residents will have to remain in shelters where there are fears of the spread of the coronavirus. For more on that, let's cross live to our correspondent Gretchen Malalad in Manila. So Gretchen, it looks like authorities are dealing with two imminent threats at hand. How challenging is the situation?
Well, Pandang, I just came back from our coverage from Batangas province where the Taal volcano is located, and we saw it release steam-rich plumes. So the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOC, said that there is a possibility that the volcano may erupt anytime. They just released their bulletin and it said that the volcanic activity is very high. There was a short-lived eruption at the main crater that released a grayish plume which rose 300 meters at 5 a.m. this morning. They have also recorded 54 volcanic earthquakes or small tremors that can be felt around the vicinity of the volcano. But what's also concerning is the high amount of sulfur dioxide being emitted by Taal. 2 days ago, it reached as high as 22,000 tons, which is extremely dangerous. This volcanic gas is very harmful on the lungs and can cause pulmonary edema or obstruction of the airway and a wide range of respiratory illnesses. So residents living within the 7-kilometer danger zone have been evacuated last week and are now staying at temporary shelters. We visited a couple of shelters and people there are not just worried about the threat of the volcano, but they're also very worried about getting infected with COVID-19.
Smoke billows out of the Taal volcano. There's still unrest in the volcano island, which is located 41 miles south of the capital, Manila. It spewed a kilometer-high ashes last Thursday, which prompted residents living near the 7-kilometer danger zone to evacuate. This is one of the 22 evacuation centers. Families are cramped inside makeshift tents. Janeline Enriquez is back again at the evacuation center. Her whole family was already here in January 2020 when the volcano had a major eruption. But unlike then, they now have to face not only the threat of the volcano, but also the possibility of getting infected with COVID-19.
I'm very scared because I don't know who might have COVID here. We are so close to each other and we might get infected.
Government officials also fear that evacuation centers might become epicenters of coronavirus infections.
Behind me is the Taal volcano island. It has been emitting a high amount of sulfur dioxide. The combination of SO2 and volcanic smog in the air is causing residents to cough, and some are experiencing shortness of breath. These are also the same symptoms of COVID-19, and this makes it more challenging for officials to determine who among the evacuees might be infected with the coronavirus.
To help combat the spread of the virus, the health department inoculated some of the evacuees with Sinovac vaccines. John Mark Taseco fears of getting infected with a virus were alleviated after getting jabbed.
I consider myself already safe from the coronavirus, even if it's only the first dose. It would help us face the pandemic.
But there were only less than 200 out of the thousands of evacuees inoculated. The health department says they will increase vaccination allocation, improve testing and monitoring to prevent the spread of the virus.
It's very important that really the nurses, the doctors do a daily monitoring of symptoms. For example, if there is an individual with influenza-like symptoms, they have to be isolated right away.
Some cities in Manila have also donated some of their vaccine supply to ensure the displaced are protected from the virus. Gretchen Malalad, CGTN, Batangas, Philippines.
You know, Pandong, it is still uncertain how long the displaced residents will be staying in evacuation centers. As long as there is a threat of eruption, they still can't go back to their homes. It might take weeks or even months before the volcanic activity will subside. So the Volcano Institute is calling on the national and local governments to come up with a long-term solution, not just short-term solutions for residents living near the volcano island, so that every time the volcano shows some activity, their lives will not be uprooted again. Pangdam, back to you.
Thank you very much, our correspondent Gretchen Malalad in Manila.